alien engineers stunned as human repairs quantum drive with duct tape. In the vast emptiness of space, even a small failure can mean the end. Here, there's no room for mistakes, but a mistake has happened. Aboard the Argus 9, a ship built by the smartest minds from many worlds, something important has broken. The quantum drive, the heart of the ship, an engine stronger than 1,000 suns, is silent and cracked. Without it, Argus 9 is stuck, drifting through space, with no planets, no help, only the silent darkness. And each second the drive stays broken, the ship moves closer to a danger even its builders never prepared for. Back on Earth, in a small, dimly lit garage, a lone mechanic named Jack Taylor works through the night. Jack's in his 50s, with rough, calloused hands and a calm focus. Around him, old tools are scattered across the workbench, each one worn from years of use. Jack isn't some fancy engineer, just a man who spent his life fixing things big and small. Suddenly, a bright light floods the garage. Jack looks up, startled, squinting into the glare, only to feel his feet lift off the ground. Before he knows it, he's gone, beamed up from his small garage on Earth, halfway across the universe, into the cold, high-tech interior of an alien spaceship. Now, standing on the deck of a ship he can't recognize, Jack looks around, confused but steady. He clutches his roll of duct tape, his one tool in this strange place, while aliens buzz around him, speaking in a language he can't understand. They don't know what to make of him either. They wanted an engineer, someone trained in high science, and instead, they got Jack Taylor, a gruff mechanic from Earth, with only his duct tape and years of grit to his name. On the alien ship, tension hangs thick in the air. The quantum drive, the lifeblood of this massive vessel, is in a dangerous state. Alarms blare through the metal corridors, piercing the silence, and red emergency lights flash in warning, casting dark shadows against the walls. The ship shudders slightly, a sign that all is not well. Alien engineers surround the drive in a state of barely contained panic. Their tools, sleek and futuristic, emit glows and strange hums as they scan, poke, and prod at the drive. Each alien is skilled and experienced, each tool specially designed to handle advanced problems. But none of it is working. One engineer tries resequencing the drive's main processor, a delicate task that requires a steady hand and years of training. But the drive sputters, flashing a deep orange light in response. Another alien uses a wand-like device, aiming it at a crack in the drive's exterior. The device hums, emitting a series of fast clicks as it attempts to seal the crack. But as the seconds tick by, the crack only widens. Every attempt seems to worsen the situation. The quantum drive, once a symbol of pure technological achievement, now looks fragile and exhausted. Lights flicker, screens blink in and out, and each failure makes the silence on the ship feel even colder. The drive's energy reserves begin to drain faster, slipping away bit by bit, a silent countdown ticking toward disaster. Amidst this chaos, one alien stands apart. He is taller than the others, his skin a shade darker, with eyes sharper and more focused. This is Xylox, the lead engineer. He's known across galaxies for his skill and expertise. In his hands, he holds a device resembling a flat, glowing tablet. His fingers fly across it, pulling up diagnostics, scanning, and analyzing. He pauses, his face tightening as he studies the results. The findings are grim. Xylox takes a deep breath, squares his shoulders, and steps forward, lifting a hand to signal the crew to pause. He clears his throat, a look of strained authority on his face, as he attempts to speak in broken English, a language he barely knows, but enough to communicate with the strange human who has unexpectedly joined them. Xylox. Quantum drive, broken, irreparably broken. His words hang in the air, heavy and final. The crew listens in stunned silence, their worst fears confirmed by their leader. The realization sets in. They are stranded in a part of space with no planets, no nearby stars, and no chance of a signal reaching anyone. Without the quantum drive, they're cut off from everything they know. A younger engineer near the back of the group looks away, swallowing hard. His gaze falls to the darkened control panel, and his hands tremble slightly. Another engineer clenches her jaw, eyes fixed on the failing drive, unwilling to accept that they've reached the end of the line. With each passing minute, the ship's systems seem to weaken. Screens blink, flicker, and sometimes die altogether, plunging sections of the ship into darkness. Jack watches the scene, trying to make sense of the high-tech tools and alien symbols flashing across the monitors. He may not understand their language, but he knows the look of raw fear when he sees it. Jack takes a step back, his eyes moving from one alien to another. He sees them glancing out the ship's narrow windows, their eyes fixated on the vast darkness outside. It's an abyss, stretching endlessly in every direction, a harsh reminder of how far they are from any help. There is nothing out there. No planets, no moons, not even a glimmer of starlight. Just a void, cold, unforgiving, and empty. And Jack understands in his own way what they're facing. Out here, surrounded by nothing but space, even the bravest and most skilled beings feel helpless. Jack has seen plenty of hopeless situations on Earth. Floods that washed away homes, storms that tore towns apart. But this? Floating in the blackness with no ground beneath your feet, no air but what's left in the tanks, no help but the strangers around you. It's a new level of fear. The alien crew can feel it too. Their faces show it, eyes wide, shoulders tense. Even Xylox, the one who's supposed to have all the answers, looks uncertain. He's used to being the one with the plan, the one who knows what to do when others falter. But now his confidence is shaken. For all his knowledge, for all the tools and systems at his disposal, he has nothing left to try. He stares at the quantum drive, a mix of frustration and despair in his eyes, and lets out a heavy, defeated sigh. Jack stands quietly, holding his roll of duct tape in one hand, watching the engineers with a deepening frown. He doesn't know much about quantum drives or alien technology, but he knows what it feels like to see people losing hope. These aliens, so advanced, so much smarter than him in ways he can't even begin to understand, are standing around helpless, and Jack senses that this moment is bigger than just a broken machine. For the first time, he considers stepping forward, offering to help. It sounds ridiculous, even to him, a mechanic with little more than duct tape and a stubborn attitude. But in this moment, as the ship drifts closer to the edge of no return, Jack's simple tools and down-to-earth experience might be exactly what these advanced beings need. As the alarms continue to echo through the ship and the drive's lights grow dimmer, Jack takes a deep breath, bracing himself. He knows he's got one chance, and it's going to take all the courage he has to make it count. Amid the silent tension and defeated faces, Jack takes a slow, steady step forward. He scans the massive quantum drive with the trained eye of a mechanic, a different kind of expert than the alien engineers, but an expert all the same. In his hand, he holds the one thing he knows like the back of his hand, a roll of duct tape. The aliens watch him, puzzled, as he lifts the tape, letting its dull silver sheen catch the light. Jack clears his throat, a faint smirk playing on his face. He meets Xylox's sharp, questioning gaze. "Jack, let me take a shot." Xylox raises one of his alien brows, a skeptical look crossing his face. He glances at the roll of tape, then back at Jack. The high-ranking engineer stares in disbelief, then lets out a sound that might be a chuckle, or maybe it's a scoff. To him, this human's duct tape is as primitive as tying two sticks together. Xylox. That is tool. Tape. Jack. Best tool you'll ever find on Earth. Trust me. Xylox's expression is skeptical, almost mocking, but his options are gone. He gives Jack a reluctant nod, crossing his arms and motioning to the drive. Jack steps forward, the alien crew watching him with a mix of curiosity and doubt. Jack crouches down, inspecting the cracked part of the quantum drive, his rough fingers running over the metal surface. He mutters to himself, a habit he picked up from years of fixing things alone. It calms his nerves and reminds him of home, of the countless machines he's repaired with nothing but his hands and a few good tools. "Jack, I've fixed tougher things back home. Old tractors, half-broken engines, my Uncle Bob's lawnmower that nearly took my thumb off. This is just another broken part, right? Just gotta patch it up. Make it hold a little longer." As he speaks, Jack unrolls a strip of duct tape, his hand steady and sure. He presses it firmly over the crack in the quantum drive, smoothing it out with his thumb. The crew stares, some in horror, others in disbelief. Advanced as they are, they can't believe that something so ordinary might hold the solution to this life-or-death crisis. Jack takes a step back, dusts his hands off, and gives the drive a final look, almost like he's sealing a job well done. Jack. There. Sometimes, all it takes is a little patchwork and a lot of nerve. The alien engineers hold their breath, unsure what to expect. Psylocke's eyes narrow, watching the drive as it hums faintly, its lights flickering. The tape holds steady, a strange, almost miraculous sight against the complex machine. Jack stands back, arms crossed, watching with a hint of satisfaction. He's been doubted before, he's used to it. But in this moment, standing on an alien ship with only a roll of duct tape in his hand, he proves that sometimes even the most advanced technology can be saved by the simplest tools and a bit of old-fashioned human grit. Jack stands before the quantum drive, his duct tape in hand, every movement deliberate, focused. The aliens watch him, eyes wide, some leaning forward, others instinctively taking a step back, as if this human small tool might somehow be dangerous. It's almost surreal. The advanced engineers, with all their gleaming technology and training, now putting their hope in a simple roll of tape, wielded by a man who's no more than a backyard mechanic on his home planet. Jack takes a deep breath, mentally blocking out the tension around him. He narrows his focus to the crack along the drive, his fingers carefully peeling back a new strip of duct tape. His hands are steady, used to working under pressure. For Jack, fixing things has never been about fancy tools or perfect conditions. It's about getting the job done, no matter how strange or impossible it seems. As he brings the tape close to the crack, he begins wrapping it around the damaged area, pressing it down with firm precision, smoothing every inch to make sure it holds tight. The aliens hold their breath, some exchanging glances, not knowing whether to trust this bizarre patch-up job or prepare for the worst. With every layer of tape, Jack's focus sharpens. He presses his thumb down on the final piece, securing it with a kind of care that only comes from experience. For a second, the room is silent. All eyes are locked on Jack's work, the entire ship seeming to hold its breath. The quantum drive lets out a faint hum, a sound that's barely audible, but enough to make the aliens twitch. The hum builds, louder, the drive struggling to spark to life. Then, with a sputter, it begins to power up, the low whine filling the room. The ship trembles as the systems struggle to stabilize, each beep from the control panel echoing louder, faster. Jack. Sometimes the simplest things work. His voice, calm and steady, cuts through the growing hum of the drive. He stands back, arms crossed, face relaxed, almost as if he's watching a casual repair job back in his old garage. To him, this isn't a miracle. It's just another repair, another job where a bit of common sense goes a long way. But to the aliens, it's a different story. The alien engineers stare at the drive, some frozen in place, others inching back, nervous. One younger engineer grabs the arm of the person next to him, his grip tight with worry. A tall, gray-skinned alien blinks rapidly, antennae twitching as he whispers to another in their native language, clearly baffled by the sight. Alien engineer. Humans. Tape. It holds. Psylocke, their leader, stands rooted in place, his usually stern expression softened by a flicker of disbelief. He spent his entire career around advanced technology, machines that practically think for themselves, circuits that repair automatically. Yet here he is, staring at a roll of tape, a material so simple it feels almost insulting. The quantum drive begins to glow, its lights pulsing in a rhythm, stronger with each beat. The hum steadies, and a faint vibration runs through the floor beneath them. The control panels blink back to life, indicators flashing from red to green, one after another, signaling the system's return to normal. One by one, the aliens relax their tense stances, their collective sigh of relief filling the air. The hum grows steady, No longer a worrisome whine, but a powerful, reassuring thrum that tells them the drive is stable, that they're safe, for now. The ship's systems beep in acknowledgement, lights flickering on across the control panels. Slowly, the red warning lights dim, replaced by the comforting green glow of stability. A wave of quiet amazement ripples through the crew. Jack glances at the aliens, giving them a faint nod. To him, this is nothing extraordinary, just a problem and a solution. But he understands that to them, it's more than that. It's a moment where the line between advanced and simple, between alien and human, blurs. One of the younger engineers, unable to hold back his curiosity, approaches Jack, pointing hesitantly at the tape. Young engineer, this material, it. Save us? Jack, it's just duct tape. You'd be surprised how far a little tape can go. His words settle into the silence, a simple truth that the crew might never have understood if they hadn't seen it with their own eyes. Duct tape, this ordinary, unremarkable strip of material, has saved their ship, something they couldn't do with all their knowledge, tools, and protocols. Shylock steps forward, his face a mixture of grudging respect and deep confusion. He looks Jack up and down, as if seeing him for the first time, not just as a primitive human, but as someone with a unique kind of wisdom, a knowledge that doesn't come from advanced equations or powerful machines. Shylock, human, your tool, strong. We no expect this. Jack, sometimes you don't need the fanciest tools. You just need to know how to use what you've got. Jack's words carry a weight beyond the moment. It's a simple lesson, but one that feels profound to the alien crew. They're used to thinking in terms of technology, always searching for the next upgrade, the next leap forward. But here, in this quiet moment, they're reminded of something they'd nearly forgotten, that sometimes even the smallest, most ordinary things can make the biggest difference. The quantum drive now thrums with power, its energy stabilizing, spreading through the ship's systems like a heartbeat restored. Jack watches, a quiet satisfaction in his eyes. He's done his part, using nothing more than a tool from his humble toolkit. And in doing so, he's shown these aliens that sometimes all it takes is a bit of tape and a lot of trust. The crew slowly disperses, the tension dissolving as they return to their stations. But even as they resume their duties, their eyes linger on the quantum drive, on that small strip of duct tape that saved them. They might never see Jack or his simple methods the same way again. Jack stands back, watching as the ship hums back to life. A quiet hero who doesn't need praise or applause. He knows he's done something important, something meaningful, and as he tucks the roll of tape back into his pocket, he can't help but grin. In this vast, strange universe, sometimes the best solutions aren't the ones that come from books or machines. Sometimes they come from a simple idea, a steady hand, and a bit of tape. As the quantum drive hums steadily, the alien engineers slowly gather around the patched section, their curiosity getting the better of them. One of the younger crew members takes out a scanning device, a sleek tool with a blue pulsing light, and aims it at the duct tape patch. The screen fills with data, chemical compounds, tensile strength, adhesive properties, all the technical details of this strange human invention. Each engineer leans in closer, their expressions a mixture of awe and disbelief. They tap at their devices, murmuring in their alien language, eyes fixed on the readouts. The adhesive properties of the tape, its durability under extreme conditions, its surprising resilience, all of it leaves them completely baffled. They've never seen anything quite like it. Shylock steps forward, looking over his crew's shoulders as they examine the tape. He maintains a stern expression, but there's something else in his eyes now, a glimmer of respect, though he's reluctant to admit it. He clears his throat, straightening up, and addresses Jack in his broken English. Shylock, humans, tape, is ingenious, simple, but strong. Shylock's words hang in the air, a reluctant acknowledgement of Jack's unexpected success. For someone as skilled and advanced as Shylock, it's not easy to accept that such a basic, low-tech material could save their ship. But he can't deny what he's seen with his own eyes. In a moment of crisis, this simple human tool has succeeded where advanced alien technology failed. Jack, standing nearby, watches their reactions with a faint smirk. He can tell that they're impressed, even if they don't fully understand how something so basic could be so effective. With a casual shrug, he lets out a bit of his dry humor. Jack, you don't need lasers for every fix. His words take a second to sink in, and a few of the aliens glance at each other, processing this unexpected wisdom. For all their technology, all their advancements, they realize there's something to Jack's way of thinking. Something about using what you have, finding solutions in the simplest things that feels different, refreshing even. Xylox looks at Jack, his expression softening, the initial skepticism now replaced with a quiet respect. It's clear that, in his own way, Xylox has come to appreciate Jack's approach. He nods, acknowledging the truth in Jack's words, even if they go against everything he's been taught. In that moment, something shifts between Jack and the alien crew. They may be from different worlds, with different ways of thinking, but for the first time they see each other as equals. The duct tape, once dismissed as primitive, now stands as a small, humble reminder that sometimes the simplest things carry the most power. As the alien crew marvels at the patched quantum drive, a sense of calm begins to settle over the ship. Systems are stable, and the worst of the crisis seems to have passed. But then, Xylox notices something troubling. He looks around, eyeing the cracked pipes and worn panels that line the ship's engine room. A frown crosses his face as he assesses the damage. The quantum drive may be holding, but it isn't the only part of the ship that needs fixing. With a hint of urgency, Xylox turns to his crew, speaking in rapid bursts in their native language. His tone is serious, his gestures sharp. Jack watches, catching fragments of the alien conversation, piecing together that the ship has more damage than he realized. Finally, Xylox turns to Jack, choosing his words carefully. Xylox, human, we need more of tape. Many places need repair. Jack's eyes widen, and he instinctively pats his pocket, feeling the almost empty roll of duct tape. He raises an eyebrow, realizing he's used nearly all of it on the quantum drive patch. He pulls out the roll, examining it with a sense of finality. There's barely enough left to cover even a small crack. Xylox looks at the tape, then at Jack, a mix of frustration and helplessness in his gaze. The aliens exchange worried glances, their relief fading into concern as they begin to understand the full extent of the problem. For all their advanced tech, they don't have anything that can mimic the simple, flexible nature of duct tape. And now, just when they need it most, they're out of it. Jack looks around, taking in the crew's expressions, and then, with a twinkle of humor in his eye, he has an idea. A grin spreads across his face as he speaks, half joking, half serious. Jack, well, looks like you've got yourself a shortage. Maybe it's time to start a duct tape trade with Earth. You know, intergalactic imports and all. Xylox blinks, his face a mixture of confusion and curiosity. He tilts his head, trying to make sense of Jack's suggestion. To him, the idea of trading with another world, especially for something as mundane as tape, is almost absurd. But as he looks around the ship and sees the need for repairs everywhere, something clicks. The aliens begin murmuring among themselves, exchanging ideas and nodding in agreement. The concept of a duct tape trade starts to sound less like a joke and more like a plan. Jack watches as their expressions shift from bewilderment to genuine interest. One engineer, a short, gray-skinned alien with wide, intelligent eyes, steps forward and addresses Xylox in a respectful tone. He points to Jack's duct tape, speaking quickly in their alien language. Xylox listens, nodding thoughtfully, and turns back to Jack, now intrigued. Xylox, trade with Earth. More of this tape. We pay. Jack chuckles, realizing his offhand comment has sparked an actual idea. He shrugs, playing along, but in the back of his mind, he's already imagining the possibilities. Earth could become a supplier of duct tape to an entire galaxy of advanced civilizations. The idea might seem crazy to him, but he's seen how quickly these aliens took to his simple solution. If duct tape can save a quantum drive, who knows what else it might be used for? Jack, Guess I should start thinking about setting up a trade route. You aliens might be surprised by what humans have up their sleeves." The crew considers the idea, nodding with growing excitement. They've realized that Jack's tape isn't just a one-time fix. It could be a valuable resource, something that might help in ways they hadn't considered before. Jack stands back, watching them discuss the logistics, feeling a strange sense of pride. He might just be a mechanic from Earth, but here, among beings from distant stars, he's sparked an idea that could change everything. Xylox approaches him, his expression one of newfound respect and appreciation. Xylox: "Human. Jack, your tape could be valuable." And with that, the ship's engineers begin making plans, a new understanding taking root. Jack has given them more than just a quick fix. He's opened their minds to a world of possibilities, all from a simple roll of tape. As they return to their stations, the alien crew now sees Jack not just as an outsider, but as an unlikely innovator, a bringer of unexpected wisdom from a small blue planet they'd barely considered before. Jack watches them, a smile on his face, thinking of Earth and the endless supply of duct tape that just might find its way into the hands of a galaxy in need. With the ship's systems finally stabilizing, the crew takes a moment to breathe. But just as relief starts to settle in, a faint warning light flickers on one of the control panels. The crew rushes over, realizing there's a new, urgent crack along a critical oxygen conduit. Without repair, their life support will fail. Xylox looks to his team, scanning for solutions, but they've exhausted their resources. He turns to Jack, desperation etched in his expression. Jack reaches into his pocket and pulls out his last piece of duct tape, the final strip clinging to the roll. Without hesitation, Jack steps forward, holding up the small but precious piece of tape. "Jack, this is all I've got left, but it's enough to keep you going." The crew watches, stunned, as Jack carefully applies his final piece of tape over the fragile conduit. He presses it down firmly, his hands steady, ignoring the tension around him. He's given them everything he has, and in this simple, selfless act, he's earned the respect of even the most skeptical among them. Xylox steps forward, his face softened, his usual stoicism replaced by something close to gratitude. He places a hand over his chest in a gesture of respect, bowing his head slightly. "Xylox, Jack, you save us. Your bravery, selflessness, we honor you." In that moment, an unspoken bond forms between Jack and Xylox. It's a moment of mutual respect, a connection bridging two worlds. Jack, the mechanic from Earth, and Xylox, the engineer from a distant galaxy, stand side by side, united by a small piece of tape and a shared understanding. As Jack steps back, he nods at Xylox, a quiet smile on his face. In the vastness of space, he's found a friendship he never expected. With the quantum drive stable and the essential repairs complete, the crew of Argus 9 gathers to document the events that saved their ship. Alien historians and engineers work together, recording every detail, the critical moments, the unexpected hero, and the strange yet powerful tool that made it all possible. In their archives, they note the name Jack Taylor, the human mechanic from Earth who saved their lives with his duct tape. His methods, though simple, are treated with reverence, documented alongside the advanced protocols and technologies of their civilization. They even include a detailed diagram of the duct tape, its adhesive properties and durability, marking it as a tool of unexpected significance. Jack Taylor becomes a name whispered with respect among the crew, a legend passed on as a reminder of courage, humility, and resourcefulness. Back on Earth, things return to normal for Jack. He's back in his garage, tools scattered around, just as they were before his life took a strange turn. One evening, he sits around a table with his friends, casually telling them the story of his intergalactic adventure, the alien ship, the broken quantum drive, and the moment he saved the day with nothing but duct tape. His friends chuckle, rolling their eyes. They've heard Jack's tall tales before, and this one sounds crazier than ever. They pat him on the back, laughing it off as just another of his wild stories. Jack just grins, not bothered by their disbelief. After all, he knows the truth. And tucked away in his pocket, as a silent reminder, is a small alien tool Xylox had gifted him, a token of gratitude and proof that sometimes the strangest stories are the real ones. Sometimes it's the little things that make the biggest difference. Jack Taylor, a humble mechanic, took a simple tool and, with it, changed the fate of a distant galaxy. And though his friends may never believe him, out there, among the stars his legacy lives on, a testament to the power of creativity, courage, and the quiet strength of one human armed with nothing more than a roll of tape.